The XXXTentacion trial is soon to be coming to an end, as the jury is in the beginning stages of revealing the verdict on who is guilty of his passing. What should be an open and shut case has now turned into a very lengthy decision process by the jury, as we're even seeing YouTubers uploading content stating XXXTentacion suspects could walk free, to even XXXTentacion's trial still has no verdict. Now this is starting to make people have second thoughts on Drake's involvement, as on the first day of the XXXTentacion trial, this was said about Drake by the suspects' lawyers.
Before X, he said, if anything, it's Drake. And do you think that for one moment, here today, days after the event, two masked men, right? He came on social media and said, guys, if anything, it's Drake. Do you think in that time span that they went and they addressed him and talked to him? No. Do you think sitting here today, years later, any detective has ever asked, Drake or anybody like that? No, they never did that. So you ask yourself, how could that be? And you say, hey, it's so-and-so, you better believe so-and-so is gonna get investigated. But in this case, they didn't do it. They didn't do it because it didn't comport with their version and their narrative. And as law enforcement, I think that they have the obligation to do so.
Leave a like on the video if you're a fan of XXXTentacion. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now, the defense attorney in that video stated, XXXTentacion said, if I were to pass, then Drake did it. Now, this was actually during an Instagram live stream to even an Instagram story post, where X posted, if anyone tries to get me, it was at Champagne Poppy, aka Drake. I'm snitching right now. The one thing the lawyer forgets to mention is why X even posted that in the first place. Now this all resulted at the aftermath of the XXXTentacion vs Drake beef, which originally started with X creating a tweet on Twitter stating, Drake's mom is kinda cute, to later then X being arrested, with his song Look At Me going viral online in a huge way. Now Drake noticed it, then found out he released a tweet about his own mom, and then he released his own song titled KMT, stealing the exact flow, speed, and even a similar beat of X's song. Now this would all be created as a retaliation because of the tweet that X posted. Now XXXTentacion was then later released from jail. He then went straight after Drake in an interview, starting a massive beef online and resulting in X's music career skyrocketing. Then after XXXTentacion would sadly pass away, Drake would then take off of the success that was being driven to his social medias from the XXXTentacion Instagram post, and he would release a song with these lyrics, where Drake said, maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it goes live, do a 5 again. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Now obviously this could be directed at anyone, but when you take the time that he released these lyrics, as well as X's Instagram story going viral at this time, these lyrics just seem too similar to XXXTentacion, because if you break a 20, you get 2 10s. Then if you do a 5 and it goes live, do a 5 again. 5 plus 5 being 10, leaving you with 3 sets of the number 10. Now 3 10s in Roman numerals is 3 X's, but it's also weird how Drake says if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again, which on many Instagram lives, XXXTentacion made statements about Drake and his mother, as shared earlier. However, with the information now being shared in the courtroom regarding Drake, he was now scheduled for a deposition because of the judge. Drake's team would then later file a motion to squash the deposition subpoena. Now this court document was then later shared, non-party Aubrey Drake Graham, by and through his undersigned counsel, according to the Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, seeks relief from the demands contained in defendant Dedrick Williams' deposition for personal appearance set on January 27th. 2023, and files this motion to quash for the protective order from the court in support thereof would state. Now this Twitter thread continued stating, singer Drake attorney argued in court this morning that the deposition subpoena was not served correctly, and he argued that Drake had nothing to do with X's passing. The judge told him to get with his defense and arrange the deposition. As on day 4 of the XXXTentacion trial, Drake's reaction to the trial surveillance subpoena was shared in the new court files. As it states, and I quote, "Latest motion in Drake's deposition saga in the X passing trial, defense says when attempting to service the subpoena, the process server was greeted by guards who refused to accept service. The guards literally kicked the subpoena down the driveway, as it was explained in further details in another court file stating, on February 14th, 2023, a California subpoena was taken by process servers to Mr. Graham, aka Drake's residence, where the prior subpoena was accepted on the previous service. The process server was greeted by guards who refused to accept service. The guards closed the colossal gate in the process server's face. After the gate closed in his face, the process server posted the subpoena only to have one of Drake's security staff literally kick the subpoena down the long driveway that leads up to the Beverly Crest mansion, Drake's Beverly Hills residence. Security is heard saying that, quote, no one is being served here. Apparently, Drake's staff believes kicking the subpoena is a legally sound way of refusing service. Sources claim that Drake's overall reaction to it was for him to give instructions to his security, warning there's a chance that this could happen, and to not accept any papers, which is exactly what his security staff did, not accepting anything and instead letting his legal team take care of it. Now, sources claim this is a big reason why the verdict is taking so long in the XXXTentacion trial, and it's because the jury want to know if Drake had any part in X's passing. If no verdict is found in the X case and Drake is then forced to sit for deposition, this explanation of X's passing will be then shared to him. It states, and I quote, on June 18th, 2018, reports were released of XXXTentacion passing away due to 4 suspects: Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, Trayvon Newsom, and Robert Allen. On the 18th of June, X's day starts with him hopping in his custom all-black BMW i8 and driving all the way over to a small motorcycle shop called Riva Motorsports. X would then walk around Riva for a little bit of time. He then gets told sales that are going on at the store, but it's only for cash. XXXTentacion would then call his mom and say he's gonna purchase a motorcycle today, with her telling him to come pick up his uncle before going. X would then drive back home, pick up his uncle, then head over to the Bank of America. While at the Bank of America, XXXTentacion is seen on surveillance asking for $250,000 in cash, where the bank teller would then refuse and tell X that she can only give him $50,000, as seen in this new surveillance video. With XXXTentacion getting the $50,000 in cash, as well as his uncle standing out front of the bank, this is where the 4 suspects would actually first notice X. As the 4 suspects noticed an all-black custom BMW i8 in the parking lot, they would then park their vehicle kinda near it and keep an eye to see who owns it. XXXTentacion, as well as his uncle, would then walk back to his vehicle. Being spotted by the suspects, one of them had the idea to follow X to see what is in that black Louis Vuitton bag, as well as wanting his diamond chain. XXXTentacion would then start driving back to Riva Motorsports, where the 4 suspects would then tail his vehicle. X would then put his vehicle in park and then start walking into Riva. Alongside that, there's 2 suspects hopping out of their vehicle and following X inside of Riva. The other 2 suspects in the vehicle would then go park their car across the street and get ready for X to start leaving. At this current moment in time, XXXTentacion, his uncle, and 2 suspects are all in Riva together, all standing within around 15 feet from each other. X would then go on to make perfect eye contact with Robert Allen inside a Riva. With X now looking at motorcycles with his uncle, the 2 men that followed inside actually bought the ski masks and gloves that they used during the incident only 15 feet away from X inside a Riva. Many people were not aware of that. Now, XXXTentacion, he didn't end up buying a motorcycle on this day. X would then begin to leave the motorcycle shop, still wearing his Louis Vuitton pullover bag as well as his diamond chain. He would then go back into his BMW alongside his uncle and sit in park for roughly 3 minutes. Him sitting in park gave the 2 suspects enough time to sprint back to the other vehicle, where all 4 of them were now located inside of their car. XXXTentacion would then turn on his vehicle, revving the engine, practically giving the suspects a perfect alarm clock to get ready. X would then try to leave the parking lot, which is a one-way, with the suspects' minivan pulling in front of X, blocking him from leaving. With X now stuck, 2 men hop out of their vehicle, both going to XXXTentacion's side of the car, holding firearms, demanding X to roll his window down completely, demanding his cash as well as his diamond chain. This is where X's uncle would actually get afraid and open up his butterfly door, opening up his side of the car door and now sprinting away, leaving X all by himself, gave one of the 2 suspects another entrance to getting towards X, as all they had before was a small car window. With X now having no idea what to do, we all kind of know what happened after that.